Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Vancouver Aquarium and to the Tech Engagement Gallery. We're getting started with our Northern Spotlights, the Arctic talk show that takes you north. And today we are joined by the wonderful Brandon Ringstad. He'll be talking to us about his trip up to the Arctic, as well as Nature Meets Paper, his YouTube channel that celebrates all incredible wealth of animals. But welcome, Brandon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming and joining us today. Now, you've traveled up where are you visiting us from?
So I'm from Seattle, Washington, so I'm visiting up for the day or for the weekend. I love it up here.
But I believe you have been a little bit further afield recently.
I have, yes. So I've recently just got back from the Arctic. I was in two locations. So I was in Kotzebue, which is just above the Arctic Circle, and I was 70 miles north of Barrow, which is way into the Arctic.
Oh, wow. Pretty incredible. Why were you up in the Arctic, Brandon?
So I was a protected species observer, PSO as we call them, and it was my job to be on a vessel up there. And so we were watching for marine mammals, so protected species. That's why we're called protected species observers.
Yeah.
So our job was to sit on the bridge for 12 hours a day.
Oh, 12 hours a day.
12 hours a day, not all in a row. We could have 4 hours on, 3 hours on, but for a total of 12 hours. And we would watch for whales, we'd watch for seals, we'd watch for anything that could get close to the vessel. And then it was our job to mitigate that so that we have a big buffer zone around our vessel.
Okay, so is it sort of a population study, a data collection study?
It is. So every time we have a sighting, every 30 minutes we do weather and what the vessel is doing. And then after every sighting, we also have to fill out paperwork. So every sighting for us is paperwork.
Yeah.
And so we have a lead on the vessel, and then we have two PSOs. I was a PSO, and we had one lead.
Okay.
And so we can call out to the other side of the bridge and say, hey, I have a sighting here. And we have binoculars, so we can look around. And we can say, I have a sighting here. What was the behavior? Where they were going? How far out they were? And then that starts a clock, and we can count how long our experience was.
Okay.
And so all of this data gets put into a computer, and there was a whole team of us, a whole fleet of like 180 of us out in the Arctic all at once on different vessels. And so that's what our main job is to look at the water. And usually most of the day, you're sitting there and you see water.
Just water.
Water.
All day.
Yep. Some days there's rough sea, so you have 15-foot seas.
Oh, wow.
And so
are there any highlights from your watches? Any?
Yes. So I was actually on the vessel Siswak.
Okay.
I believe we have a photo of that. So this was the Siswak. This is a 260-foot vessel, and so we were on that.
So how long did you live aboard this vessel?
1 month.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
and we didn't see land for 3 weeks.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was really weird when we saw land. It was Point Hope. We were heading back down to Dutch Harbor. We were the last vessel on. But one of the highlights of that was coming down through Dutch Harbor, or the Bering Sea, and we got to see 60 humpback whales. We saw fin whales, minke whales. We saw walrus, then eagles, of course, in Dutch Harbor. So eagles are here. They're everywhere in Dutch Harbor. And a fun fact about Siswak is Native Alaskan Inupiaq for beluga.
Okay.
So I was aboard the beluga, and everyone was on there, and so they were always asking us, because I'm part Native Alaskan, Eskimo, Inupiaq, and they were always asking us fun tidbits and fun names for different animals that we were seeing. So we would see like bearded seal, and we'd say, oh, that's an ugruk, and it was just a lot of fun.
And did you have to do any serious preparation? Because it's quite rough conditions.
Yes. So we had about 3 or 4 months of training.
Wow. What did the training consist of?
Actually, so a lot of people would think that this is really scary, but we had to fly down to Houston and go and train in NASA. And
we went to NASA?
We did. We went to NASA to go train and for our helicopter underwater evacuation training.
Wow.
So you get in a helicopter in this big pool in NASA, and that you're strapped in, you're in your flight suit and everything. Mm-hmm. They dunk you in water, and you have to escape. And so there's like 7 stages.
That's not nerve-wracking at all.
No, not at all. Well, I was a competitive swimmer, so I
Okay.
loved every minute of it. But you get submerged, and then the last one is they capsize the whole helicopter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so you're underwater, you're upside down, you're strapped into the helicopter with your punch-out windows, and you have to find your way to the surface and like inflate your life vest.
That is some intense training. I was expecting, buying a couple more layers, maybe some long underwear, something
yeah,
like that.
that too.
But wow, NASA training is some serious stuff.
Yeah. So we had to also learn how to identify the animals within a split second.
Okay.
Because we have to be able to do a scan. So while we're moving, it's a scan of 180 degrees.
Okay.
While we're stationary, it's 360. So we have to be able to see an animal and identify it within seconds, call it out so that they can start the time.
And I imagine it's quite difficult because you're on the move, you have these massive seas. What's
Yes.
the giveaway? Is it the blowhole? Is it the fins?
Sometimes it's color.
Okay.
So, if you're looking at the ocean for hours and hours, it becomes like the same similar colors. And so if something's just a little bit off, that catches your attention, and also the movement, which sounds a little weird.
Yeah.
Because you're always
Constantly
moving. You're
moving.
constantly moving. But anything that's moving out of that pattern catches your attention as well. And so if you're seeing a whale too, that's a blow.
So your
That'll-
eye just gets trained
Yeah.
to that motion on
Yeah.
the boat.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. So on my vessel, the Siswalk, I had 80% of the sightings.
Oh, wow.
So
You were busy.
I was really. I had to stop for lunch on occasion.
Yeah. Everybody's busy.
let somebody else take their turn. Yes. But I think it helps because I'm an artist, and so I can see colors really
Okay.
well.
Interesting. So when you were up there, it was 24 hours daylight?
Yes. So in August, it was 24 hours of daylight, or close to that. There was a mountain range in Kotzebue that would block the sun a little bit. Yeah, this is the picture. And so the sun would dip down below this mountain range, and at 4 in the morning, maybe 3:30 in the morning, it would come back up, and that was our sunrise.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how does that affect you? Like physically, are you drained? Do you get used to it? Do you sleep in the middle of the day?
Yes and no, because you just have to tell yourself, I have to go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's light.
Simple.
It's light. I have to go to sleep. So this was a different adventure. This was August. This was on a 80-foot aluminum boat, which bounces around like crazy. So it was a completely different experience. In Kotzebue, we got to move around with people. We were land-based, and so we got to move around with everyone and interact with the whole community.
Yeah.
Where up in Barrow, we had none of that.
Okay. And I know since you've been back from the Arctic, you've kind of held a little bit of a stronghold on the Arctic. You've been
Right.
fielding into other areas.
Yeah, so I have been, I started my own YouTube channel, and so it's called Nature Meets Paper, and so I was trained as a marine biologist.
Yeah.
I don't always have access to these animals and the animals that I want to teach about, and so it's my goal to bring public education of the marine world to everyone. And so I don't have the funds or anything to actually go to all these places. So what I do is, like I said, I'm an artist. So I'll paint. So I did a few pieces like this.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so this is
Is that paint?
This is colored pencil.
Oh, wow.
So this is a colored pencil piece that I did of Arctic cod. And then I have another piece that fell. And yes, that was an original, and it's okay since I'm the artist, I can knock it up a little bit. But this is a Arctic char that I did. I just finished a beluga piece, so Keela, the aquarium was nice enough to give me a reference photo of Keela and her calf in 2008. And so I just painted that.
So is it all about the painting? Is it about artistic techniques, or what do you talk about on the channel itself?
on the show, I don't talk about the artistic piece at all.
Okay.
This is just running in the background while I'm giving information, like while I'm painting. So this will be a time lapse. You'll be able to see how I do this. I don't give anything how this is done.
Doesn't give the magic away, folks.
Yeah.
No.
If you want to know that, I have another channel that I use. that is a good friend of mine from Texas. She tells all how to do this. But my part is just giving education about these animals that people might not know about.
And along your artistic journey, have you found a favorite? Is there a favorite painting or animal that you've connected to most?
My favorite animal is the narwhal.
Okay.
I have done one piece back in high school, but I need to do more. But lately it has been the belugas because a lot of people really love the belugas. Mm-hmm. They love fish. I mean, I'm kind of not normal because I love fish, like love fish. Where some people are like, oh, it's a fish. But with a beluga or one of the charismatic megafauna, like a whale, they love those. So I've been trying to move more towards that too.
Well, it's nice that you highlight animals like the Arctic cod that aren't as, I guess, well known publicly, because that's sort of what we try to do here as well. Is try and connect people to the things they may have missed while they were watching the beautiful belugas as well. I believe this is kind of inspired by us a little bit?
Yes. So these photos were actually given to me as a reference photo by the Aquarium. And so I don't copy the photo like perfectly.
Okay.
It's my way of looking at it, looking at the characteristics while I do my research of my information that I'm going to give, and then I get pretty darn close to the photo.
Yeah. And so what's the goal? Like ideally, if this YouTube channel could do one thing, what do you think it would be?
So ideally would be for me to be able to move around, visit other people, visit experts in their field, and then have them supply me with photos or the opportunity to go take my own photos so that I can teach other people what they're working on. Because I know people work on their research for years and years, and sometimes it doesn't get shown in the public light. And so I figure they're working really hard on what they're working on. It deserves to be put in the public eye, and so that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
So turning science into the public domain.
Yes. So instead of this mysterious science world where everything's hidden, I want to bring some of the results and people's research into the light.
Well, that's pretty amazing. I think it's very similar to what we do as well. We try and make science more public because, scientific papers don't get read by as many people as come through our doors or visit your YouTube channel. So it's really important that we highlight animals in that way. When it comes to what's next, what do you think's next for Nature Meets Paper, or just Brandon? Are you heading up to the Arctic again? I
would love to go to the Arctic, but I would like to work on my my YouTube channel and maybe go to grad school.
What would you study if you were going to grad school?
I don't know. I would probably do marine biology or public education.
Wonderful.
If I could combine those, that'd be perfect. But as of right now, I'm still just looking.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that our Northern Spotlights talk show has inspired you to do so much and such beautiful work connecting people with these incredible animals. And I wish you all the best with your YouTube channel and with your further degrees if you go ahead and take those. But I'd like to thank you so much for joining us for our Northern Spotlights, giving you a sneak peek into the life of Brandon Ringstad. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to ask us after the program. This is actually our last Northern Spotlight, so thank you for being our last guest. Please do look up our website, vanaqua.org/ournorth, if you want to know a little bit more about the Arctic research that we do at the Aquarium or all of the other interviews that we've had throughout the series. But keep your eyes peeled for more talk shows coming through. Thank you so much for joining us and have a wonderful rest of your day.